Using a simple prompt and some instructions, I was able to create this lead magnet generator tool, which features a whole bunch of different types of lead magnets that you can create. It also has a voice analyzer section where you can choose from drop downs. You can analyze your own writing with this. And also it contains an API section where you can choose between Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google Gemini. Also different ways of outputting, markdown, plain text, email, and some of the others here, as well as a local mode, which creates a prompt that you would then copy the prompt and you could paste it in here, as well as change the type of prompt with these buttons right here. And it has a whole bunch of different types of outputs, as well as HTML slides. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Lewis. I create simple YouTube videos on using Claude for content creation. So if you are somebody that likes to create with Claude and you want to save some time, you can create the same type of tools. Stick around to the end of the video and see how exactly that I did this. And with that, let's get started. So what I'll do to start from the beginning is I'm going to put in a prompt. This is Claude Chat, by the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file where it'll have the features that I want. Instead of creating like some long prompt, I'm going to ask it what features that a lead generation tool should have, like some suggested features. And I'll show you what I'll do with that once I get that back. So I'll put in the prompt here, and I'm using Haiku, which is a lower model, because this is a little bit easier of a task. Suggest features for a lead magnet generation tool built with Claude Code and HTML, and is standalone with API and local non-API options. I'll go ahead and send that off, and it's going to come back with some features of what it thinks should be in a tool like that. So what I'm going to do is, before I even prompt it to create the tool, I'm going to grab these and I'm going to create a markdown file. You can do it through here too. You could ask it, please output this into a markdown file, but I'll show you what I do. So this is the core features here. Multi-output format, it gives you the API mode versus the local mode, intelligence features, the UX, output panel, everything. So what I'll do with this, and you look at that, it even gives you the prompt for local mode, preloaded, tunable prompts, like create a 5-minute item checklist. But what I'm going to do later on is I'm going to add a feature I'm going to give it, like I showed you, 48 different lead magnets that it can create that you can choose from. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I will copy this entire thing here, see if I can get it to go down. I'll copy it, keep going all the way, and click on copy. And really quickly, it even shows you what makes this fit your ecosystem. It shows you the problems that the tool solves. So I'm going to go to my desktop now, and I'm just going to create a regular text file for a split second here, and I'm going to call it lead magnet generation tool features. But I'm going to save it as a markdown file, .md, and it'll say yes. And by the way, to open this, you're going to have to download Notepad++. I'll go ahead and link that in the description so you can see it. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and paste it in there. And this is oh, actually, no. Okay, this is the older one I was going to show you. So this is actually the prompter. I'll show you when I upload that. This is for the features here. So let me X that out, and I'll go ahead and save it. And then what I'll do is, in order to use that, I'll go ahead and create a new chat. And to make this easier, I'll go ahead and upload that file that I was showing you. See if I could find it real quick. I'm pretty sure it's on my desktop. So Claude Code prompter. And what this does is it's going to give Claude the instructions on, instead of me typing in role expert Claude Code prompter and everything else, it's going to have that already in there. And then I'm going to also upload the other file that I just showed you, which is the features. And really quickly, I'll go back and show you. Let me drag it over here. This is what this one has in it. It gives you let me get out of this. Gives you the role, and it tells it already here. Everything's already built in. So this is kind of a more robust way of doing it. I mean, you can obviously go in and just type in role, just like I was showing you. And some of the other videos I've made also show you how you can give something a role and a task. But this is a little bit more robust. It gives it like the responsibilities, the expertise, the challenges, everything here, the terminology, the tool use, goals and objectives, interactions. So also, I'll link this in the description also. So if you wanted to create your own project, you could use this as a project. You would just copy this, create a project, call it Claude Code Prompter, and then just type this in as the instructions and then save it. And then you'll have a Claude Code Prompter agent. Then you can just go in and prompt it for a prompt for whatever tool you're going to make. So I'll go ahead and go back. And what I'm going to say is follow the instructions. Go ahead and make sure my spelling's correct here. Follow the instructions in the Claude Code prompter. Misspell here again. .md file. And also use the lead magnet generation. Go back and fix this. I keep misspelling everything. Lead magnet generation tool, features file. And I'll go ahead and send this off here in a second. So I added in right here after that to create the prompt for building the specified tool. So this is the entire prompt right here. And what it's going to do is it's going to create a prompt that I can then go into Claude Code and put in that prompt as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the model to a little bit higher model to 4.6, and I'll change it to high. And then I'll go ahead and send this off. And once it is finished, I will show you what the resulting prompt looks like. So it is finished, and it even gave some what it called non-obvious design decisions. So it's showing like if you put in an API key, session storage means every time you enter in that key, every time you close the browser, even if it's on your local machine, the key will disappear. You can change this by telling it to store your key in local storage, which means it's local to your machine, so nobody else is going to see it. So every time you open it up, it'll still be there, so you don't have to constantly keep entering it in. You know, totally up to the person who's building this, whatever they want to do. So this is the actual prompt right here. What's good about this is I can download this as an MD file, and I can put that into a folder and then open up that folder in VS Code when I have Claude Code open, and I'll be able to use that. This is the prompt, and just tell it to follow the instructions in the prompt to begin building. But before that, I'll tell it to please plan out the build before you execute the build itself. So what I'll do is I'll download that, and I will go ahead and show you really quickly as well. VS Code is what I use. People also use Anti-Gravity, and some people use the actual Claude desktop. VS Code right here, Visual Studio Code. You can just download it for free. Once you download it, any of these here will do fine. Any of these links, all you do is Google it. I'll link it in the description anyway, just to make it easier. So that way, when you actually do go ahead and start your Claude Code session, it'll be, everything will be right there. And you can just download the Claude Code extension to be able to talk to Claude Code. Some people use the terminal in Claude Code. I actually like to use the chat, and I'll go ahead and show you that right here. So once you first open your VS Code up, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the extensions, which are right here, and then you'll just search for Claude Code basically when it pops up, and you just hit Claude Code. Have to type it incorrectly. Just search it, and it'll be this one here, Claude Code for VS Code, and it'll say install, and you'll just click install and install it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and in a second here, I'm going to start with going into open up a folder here, and I'll put the file, the actual prompt file into the folder, and I'll show you exactly how to use it. By the way, this is a simplified tutorial. It's just so people can actually at least get started with creating a tool like this, just to be able to get a feel for Claude Code and how you can create a tool, and then you can just add to it. You can go from there. So first I'm going to start out with just going into the folder. I'm going to open up the folder that I created called Lead Magnet Generator. And the folder itself has the prompt already in it. So this is the file like you saw me create here a minute ago. And what you would do is to open up Claude Code, you would just go here, click on Claude Code. I prefer to also you would click start a new session. I prefer this. I don't really use the terminal too much. Some people use the terminal. But first, before I even start it, I'm gonna type in caveman so I can save some, save some money here with tokens. So I'll put it into ultra mode. Click on ultra there. And since it's already up, I'm gonna go ahead and click that. I just like to have the file explorer right here. So what I'll do is, and also by the way, you can change models really quickly. I'll show you. Type in model and it'll say switch model. I'm just using 4.6 and I'm going to have it on, the effort's going to be on medium, again, to make it simple. I'm going to put it into plan mode. After I use plan mode and I started, I usually just use auto mode so it doesn't constantly pop up on the screen asking you, do you approve? So what I'll do is I'll first start out with follow the instructions in the lead magnet generator tool prompt. Please, before you start the build. And then I will go ahead and I will send it off. And I will be back once the plan is created to show you what happens, because usually what it'll do is it'll pop up. After it creates a plan and it'll ask you to auto approve it, it'll give you some options. So it finished with the plan and it gives you the plan right here. As you can see, the goal, the architecture, the tech stack, it tells you HTML. It gives you, this is where the output file is going to be. It's going to give you the spec files, which are read-only reference. This will give you right here the file structure, design tokens, the tasks. So it's going to start out with task 1 to build it out. And I'm not going to go, I don't want to go through the whole entire thing. I'll just scroll through it. Step 2, 3, task 3. So it's a pretty good plan here. It gives you exactly what it's going to do. And then it tells you once it's finished how you manually verify. You'd open it up, then you would put in your API key, test it out, then you test out the local mode. So here are the options: yes and auto accept, manually approve edits, and then no keep planning, like if you want to change something, or you could just tell it your own thing of what you want it to do. Just for this video's sake, I'm going to go ahead and hit auto and accept, and it's going to start building it. And I will show you what the end result is of the first version of this build. All right, so here's the first version of the build when it's finished. It gives you the checks that it passed. Right here's all the features that it has. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at it. And this is what it looks like. So again, there's a ton of things you can add to this. Like you can add the themes like I showed you in the other version that I had. I'm going to add here in a second. I'll show you some more of these different types. I'll add in like 25 or 30 more types. This one's interesting because it's got different variants. There's like a preview, a raw. You can copy it. You can download it as text or markdown. And then here's the output formats that you have. And these are the different things that you can enter in, like a pain point, the target audience that you want the lead magnet to be. Here it is, optional. Paste a blog post, email, or notes to base the magnet on. Competitor URL, then you can put in your Anthropic key. And you can add in, like I had in the other one, you can add in OpenAI. Also, you could even put Google Gemini as an option to be able to use that as well. That's the API mode, actually. The local mode doesn't have the API, obviously, as you can see here. It'll just generate it automatically based on like a built-in library. So what I'm going to do is I'll get out of that, and I will just type in this little prompt here, features to add, and I'll say, please add 6 themes, and I'll say 3 dark and 3 light. I'm just going to do it one at a time so I don't overwhelm it. I'll go ahead and send this one off. I have it on auto mode. After you do the plan, it'll usually go into edit automatically, so it's still going to pop up and ask you, do you want to keep going? Yes, with the whatever it's trying to do, the different commands it's trying to run, like in PowerShell. If you wanted to do auto, just click auto and it'll go ahead and go without asking you. It'll just execute the build. So I'll go ahead and send that off, and then I'll check back with it to see what it did. So it's done, and even tells you right here, gives you the actual code here for the color. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look to see what that looks like. Let's go here, and right here in the top right corner, and by the way, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in some just to make it easier to see. So who's ever watching this on a smaller screen, it's in Noir already, is what it called it. There's the midnight theme, there's the obsidian theme, and then it's got 3 of the brighter ones. Here's paper, here's Arctic, which it literally just changes the accent colors when it does these, I noticed, and there's sage, so it really doesn't change the background. But I mean, you can create as many themes as you want on this. You would put in the actual, the prompt into Claude Code. So I'm going to go ahead and get back here, and I will add in this prompt here for another feature. I wanted to add in 30 more lead magnet types and make that whole entire section collapsible, but make them choosable as cards. You can see right there, I did a compact, so it kind of saves tokens. I'll go ahead and make sure it's on auto mode, and I'll go ahead and send that off, and I will be back to show you what it did to the tool. So it is finished with that. It added in 39 types, collapsible. Actually, no, it added in 30, and the 9 original makes it 39. It's got the selectable type badge, collapsible header, and it gives you all of the things that it did. Like right here, all 30 new types are fully wired in. So I'll go ahead and show that so you can see what it looks like. So this is right here, this little arrow. If you collapse it, whether in that mode or this mode here, API or local, it's the same. You would hit the arrow again, and based on whatever you select, it'll say it here, like cheat sheet, it pops up here, quiz. So when you actually create it, so like if I wanted to create an email sequence, I would go and fill all this out, and I'd have my API key in there, and then I would hit generate, and then it would generate it here. So, and then this is the local mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a voice analyzer section as a feature as well, like I showed you in the beginning of the video. So I'll go ahead and paste in the features to add. Will be create a voice analyzer section with 2 options. Option 1 is where the user can describe their writing voice. Option 2 is where a user can paste in 2 or 3 pieces of their own writing and the AI can analyze it. I'll go ahead and send that off, and I will be back to show you what the feature looks like when added to the tool. So this is the end result. And by the way, I added in another feature, but just to show you real quick, this is the voice profile section, and it gives like a drop down, and then the second tab is analyzing actual text that you paste in. So it'll give an idea of your voice profile. And again, I can keep adding even more. I can create a whole entire section where you can save the voice profile and use it, for future, generations of different lead magnets that you want to generate. I also added in here the ability to export as slides, PDF, and doc. So it went through and it did that. It gives you right here, doc, PDF, slides, tells you exactly, how it works. You could also add in a how-to section on this thing. So if anybody, if you wanted to share the tool with somebody else, just tell them to look at the how-to section. I'll go ahead and show you what this looks like now. So it added in right here, voice profile. So if you clicked it, it gives you analyze samples. So you would paste in 3 different samples of your writing and then hit analyze, or the describe section. So you would select the tone. You could put conversational, you could put mixed, formality, personality. Gives you different options like friend, vocabulary level, plain and simple, humor, dry wit, formality, casual, and then you would fill out this as well and generate. So right here, I'm going to stop with adding the features, and I'll go ahead and test out a couple different ways of using this tool. I'll try one in local mode, and then I'll also try one in API, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So my first test is going to be in API mode. It's going to be an email sequence. So I have email sequence selected. Then I'm going to do describe voice, and I filled out here the drop downs as conversational, mixed cadence, casual formality, coach mentor personality, vocabulary plain and simple, and then humor, light, and fun. And I chose just a random niche, personal finance for beginners. Target audience is going to be beginners trying to save for retirement. I'm going to put people up to age 50. Can't figure out what type of investments to make. That's a pain point. You can put extra context in here if you want. You can put in other notes or posts or whatever you want to do to kind of like incorporate it into the generation. And I'm going to skip this part. I'm not even sure if I would ever use something like this. I mean, but maybe somebody could, so I'll just leave it in there as a feature. I've got my API key here. And one feature I'm going to add in is a way to clear the key out and also to test the key to make sure the key is actually good. I'll put it as HTML and then I will hit generate. So what I realized is I clicked on HTML and what I did was it literally generated it in HTML. I was thinking about that fact. So I would have had to literally copy that and pasted it into a file to preview it. So what I did was I regenerated it as an email template. And by the way, I added in the ability to select the models and to test the key and to clear the key with these buttons right here. So as you can see, variant A and variant B, it did two different versions. And when you click preview, it gives you the email sequence right here that you can see. You could use this for whatever you wanted, depending on the niche, I guess. I put personal finance as a niche just for the heck of it, just to see what it would do. And then, down here, when you scroll all the way down, I'll move my side over here. You could copy it. You could download it as a markdown file, a text file, a PDF, slides. Just for the heck of it, I'll download it as a PDF. And right here, you can see this is the PDF. You can save print as PDF. So it technically does what it says it does, and you can, as I said before, you can make so many changes and you can just an unlimited number of things you could do with this type of tool. What I'll probably do is, before I upload it, is I'll delete this HTML preview because there's really no use for it. And I'll replace that as like text. I'll just put maybe like as output format, plain text. So what I'll go ahead and do now is I'll go ahead into local mode. And it's the same here. Everything's the same, which is pretty neat. You don't have to redo the whole entire thing here. So I'll go ahead and leave all this. And so what it'll do is, let's see real quick, I have it in raw and preview. I'll click on raw. Email template. It's showing as copy prompt to clipboard. So it's copied. So what I'll do is I'll paste it in here. And even though it says paste a response from Claude here, this isn't technically a response. It's like a built-in, it's supposed to be like a built-in library kind of thing because it's in local mode. Just a quick side note, I changed this local mode here because what actually this is a prompt creator. So like as you can see, like I was showing earlier, with all the same settings, I'll have it as plain text. I took out the HTML, and all you do is you click copy prompt to clipboard. And then when you paste it in here, you can see it's actually a prompt. So then you would click load output, and then this pops up here. So whenever you click one of these in local mode, what it does is it changes the prompt to one of these suggested, So like you see how this prompt is here? If I click make it shorter right here, I'll go in and I'll delete that. And I'll paste it in and see how the prompt is now shorter. So that's just to give, whoever uses this tool an idea of what this local mode actually is versus the API, which actually calls out to Claude and generates the content. And then you can then save it in these, these different formats like slides, PDF, doc, and text. Really quickly, when you're in the API mode here, if you see the suggest unused angles, once you fill all this stuff out here, what that does is that'll suggest a different pain point. So if you click it, it'll come up and it'll generate the unused angles. And then when it comes up, you can choose one of these. So I'll just click lead with every investment type beginner should ignore first. So I'll click use, and then it puts it into here. And then once you do that, you can then generate a different one. You can see here, it's generating a variant of a plain text email sequence because that's what I have clicked on here. So Hopefully this gave you an idea of the kind of tools you can build to save time for yourself. Once again, this is a local tool, so it runs pretty easily on your machine, and nobody else will be able to see your API key. So hopefully this helped you out, and I will have some more videos in the future, so stay tuned. And with that, I will end this one, and thank you for watching.